Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this video right here is going to be something that if you've been watching the lives, my last couple of lives, I've been saying this, but I wanted to make an official video on it, a shorter version of what I was saying on the lives. Now, a lot of people, when it comes to welterweight, the welterweight division, they want to play matchmaker. You know, they want to say like, well, you know, Vergil Ortiz, right? That's what this video is about. They want to say Vergil Ortiz should fight Jerron Ennis. Vergil Ortiz should fight Rashidi Ellis. Vergil Ortiz should fight Alexis Rocha. Vergil Ortiz should fight Spence. Or Vergil Ortiz should fight Crawford, right? And those are all good fights. You know, I like Vergil Ortiz. I think Vergil Ortiz is an excellent fighter, an excellent young fighter that still has some proving to do. But so far, you can't really complain too much. The guy has had 18 knockouts in 18 fights. So clearly he's done something right, and there's a lot of quality to him. But I'm going to say it like this, and you can choose to like it or not like it. But Vergil Ortiz was scheduled to fight Michael McKinson on March 19th. I went to that fight. It wound up being Blair Cobbs versus Alexis Rocha as the main event due to the fact that Vergil Ortiz had some sort of condition and was not prepared to fight because he was doing too much to cut weight. That's what we were told. We haven't seen or heard from Vergil since like that fight. He hasn't really been spotted. I mean, from what I can see, there's been no interviews done, nothing, right? So I might sound like an asshole, but that does call into question like how legitimate was it? Because now you've had Oscar De La Hoya going on Twitter talking about he want to match Vergil Ortiz up with Earl Spence at the Cowboy Stadium, to which Earl Spence denied him. But the fact that Oscar even felt comfortable enough to throw that out there lets me know that maybe, just maybe, he knows something we don't, and that Vergil might compete at 147 next, right? When we were told that fight week, we were told that Vergil is not in a great condition and that he needs to move to 154. So look, if he actually has condition, then that's okay. You know, it's your health, it's your life, not mine, not any other boxing fan. So take your time to rest and recuperate. But if your body is having that hard of a time making 147, I don't want to hear about what you're gonna do at 147. And I'll tell you this: I'm throwing it out there now, so that way, if it happens, you guys won't be surprised by me getting mad. But if Vergil Ortiz stays at welterweight and in his next fight doesn't fight Michael McKinson, who was his original opponent, you know, the WBO #2 ranked welterweight contender, undefeated. I don't care what you think about his style. I don't care what you think about his knockout ratio, which isn't very high because he has 2 knockouts in 22 fights. I don't care what you think about his knockout ratio, his style, how boring he is, what you think might happen, what you think would happen if they fought. Right is right and wrong is wrong, and we don't play favorites over here. Vergil Ortiz needs to fight Michael McKinson next if he stays at welterweight, because if he doesn't do that next and he stays in the same division, doesn't honor the contract he signed, then in that case, it's a duck. Vergil Ortiz has ducked the guy who's 22-0 with 2 knockouts. The great, big, bad, feared Vergil Ortiz, supposedly, the big, bad Vergil Ortiz. If he doesn't fight Michael McKinson next at welterweight, if he stays at welterweight and fights anybody else, I don't care if it's Ellis, I don't care if it's anybody, I'm calling it a duck. Because this fight was supposed to be, first of all, it was a fight that I was very excited about because I know that McKinson, there's a lot more to McKinson than his knockout ratio or lack thereof, all right? There's more to him than that. You see, if you actually meet him in person, which I have, he's bigger than he actually looks on TV. Very physically strong. He showed that in his fights. I know it's not against guys that you would think are on the level of Vergil Ortiz, but in the fights he's had so far, of the 22 men they put in front of him so far, there has been plenty of fights where the guy with 2 knockouts actually showed that he had the physical strength to push fighters back, was very crafty as a southpaw. Yes, sometimes he may have some technical deficiencies which prevent him from getting knockouts, but make no mistake about it, if they were to actually ever correct that, Michael McKinson would be a very good welterweight. But even without having proper punching technique, he still finds a way to make it work for himself. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to see this fight because it was going to be the first time that Vergil Ortiz actually fought a young, hungry contender, just like himself. This wasn't going to be no Brad Solomon. This wasn't going to be no Mauricio Herrera, guys that have already done their best boxing and are years past it. No, this is going to be a guy that is on the same mission as him to defend his undefeated record and get that WBO world title shot. And now, all of a sudden, and I hate to say it, but it's the truth, he didn't show up to the fight because he had a condition, which was never proven, by the way. He didn't show up to the fight. He pulled out because he had a condition. And Michael McKinson went through hell that week. I mean, Michael McKinson trained all these months because you gotta remember, they were actually supposed to fight in January. He started training for this fight in like November because they're supposed to fight in January. And they pushed it back some more. So he literally spent what, December, January, February. He was basically in a 3.5 month training camp, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's not fair to him. He had to go through a lot. It was supposed to be Vergil. Vergil pulled out. They tried to get some Mexican fighter from Mexico who hadn't boxed in a couple years. That didn't work out. A bunch of other fighters were offered the fight on short notice. Like I know, and from my interview with Pistol Pete Dobson, I think he was offered the fight on like 2 or 3 days notice. He didn't wind up taking it. So they went through all kinds of fighters until Alex Martin, you know, shout out to Alex Martin, I respect him as a fighter. He took the fight. He took the fight, and basically it wound up being a very boring and negative fight because of the fact that Michael McKinson fought his first southpaw ever in his career. He fought a guy that has a lot of similarities to him, so he basically boxed himself. Michael McKinson basically boxed himself, and people are gonna use about how they're gonna say how bad he looked in that fight to say Vergil shouldn't fight him. But this ain't about what you think. This ain't about what you want. This ain't about none of that. This is about boxing, doing what's right, and Vergil Ortiz not ducking no smoke. And I'm not letting him off the hook. If we're not gonna let other fighters off the hook, we're not letting Vergil off the hook. Vergil doesn't get special treatment because, you know, he's likable and he comes off as very humble, and I met him in person, so I know what he's like. He is very humble, very down to earth. We're not giving a special treatment because he's a quote unquote good person. No, absolutely not. We're holding him to the same standard as any other fighter. So look, I say all this to say that yeah, Vergil needs to. If Vergil fight stays at welterweight, then that means we've been lied to by Golden Boy, because they said he was in a life and death situation, which he may have been in. And if it was really a life and death situation, then okay, we'll go up to 154 immediately. I'm not against his health. You know, I want all these fighters to be as healthy as possible, but I also want people to conduct themselves with professionalism, integrity, and these things. And right now, nobody's talking about it because it's not a big deal. Maybe there's a lot of people that really didn't want to see the McKinson fight, but I still want to see it. I want to see it because it was a signed contract for him to fight him, and McKinson was going to be the first young, hungry, undefeated fighter he's ever fought. All the other guys he fought were good fighters in their time, in their day, but their best boxing's behind them, not in front of them. So yeah, that's what it is. You guys let me know what you think. I know I'm gonna get some interesting comments on this one, but I don't want to hear about him fighting nobody else until he fights Michael McKinson. I don't care if he fights like Rashidi Ellis next or something like that, you know, or even like an Ennis. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Honor your contract. Honor your contract. That's it. So you guys take care, and as you know, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on True School Sports, the home of boxing. If you made it this far, do me a favor and do yourself a damn favor. Hit that subscribe button, and surely you will not be disappointed. You know, True School Sports bringing you the latest and greatest, the untouchable, you know, boxing content, interviews, news videos, breakdowns, live fight reaction extravaganza. We've got a great community of people here, boxing fans all over the world, from America to the UK to Australia, and on and on and on. So join the empire today. Hit that subscribe button. Take care and God.